The Rewind
Sports 60. From the city of big shoulders, the jewel of the Midwest, comes a sports show that's one of a kind. From iconic players to iconic stadiums to iconic teams, this is my kind of town.
Chicago!
And the Rewind Sports 60 is my kind of show. From Air Jordan to Sweetness to Papa Bear Hallis, this city works hard, but plays even harder. Danny Carlino and Jerry Riles bring you the Rewind Sports 60. Live. The Rewind Sports 60 starts now.
Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the Rewind Sports 60. We're broadcasting live from the beautiful studios of WCPT 820 AM in the beautiful, beautiful city of Chicago, in one of the greatest neighborhoods of the greatest city on the planet. We're in Jefferson Park on the north side here in Chicago. This is another edition of the Rewind Sports 60. Yours truly, Jerry Riles, for the fastest hour in sports conversation. Tune in right now. Join us. Our number is 773-763-9278, 773-763-WCPT. And let's get right to it because we got a lot in store. We got a lot to throw at you out there. So we want you to be a part of it, but we want to see if we can cover as much as we possibly can, from the Cubs, from the Sox to the Bulls, not the Bulls, to the Bears. Blackhawks coming up. College football, high school football, the Bears be kicking off this week. Over on the lakefront, shake the lake against the Green Bay Packers. So let's get to him, ladies and gentlemen. You love him. He's the one. He's the only. He's the Italian stallion. He's DC. He's Danny Carlino. What's up, Danny?
Good evening, Jerry. So how has your week been in your new age bracket?
You know what? Thank you so very much. It's been very good for the week or so. I don't feel any older, my good friend.
That's a good thing.
I feel a little bit heavier because I've been eating a lot, that's for sure. Yeah, but other than that,
well,
I'm all good.
That. You were leaving for some good food, I know, last week. It went well?
Yeah, well, it went well. I think it was a little bit, for me, it was a little bit overrated where we went to Boston Fish Market in Wheeling. And they give you great portions. There's no question about it. It is pricey, but I got the shrimp gumbo. We got the blackened catfish. I forget what Lise got. But they give you a healthy portion. We spent, I got to tell you, we spent, over $100 for sure, just the two of us, for the meals at Boston Fish Market over there in Wheeling on Milwaukee Avenue. But I got to tell everyone, ladies and gentlemen, it's always good to sample different menus and venues and places throughout the greatest city in the world, Chicago, because I think we have the greatest food. I think we have the greatest restaurants. I think we have the greatest chefs. So it's always good to sample, but you can't beat Saranello's Ristorante Italiano right there in Wheeling, 601 North Milwaukee Avenue in Wheeling. Chef Michael Bonner. We're going to be doing a lot of things over there, so we want everyone listening to check us out. Saranello's Ristorante Italiano. But thank you so much, Danny, for asking.
You're very welcome. I've been. I don't know if I've been there. I have another location, but yeah, it is pretty good. And yes, it is quite pricey. And yes, I'll go to Saranello's.
There you go.
I'm agreeing.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, you love him. He wasn't at Wrigley, and maybe that's why the Cubs were defeated and they were skunked.
He scored just as many runs where he was.
They certainly did. They were skunked for the second consecutive outing over at the friendly confines. Not too friendly these days. The Cubs, they take it on the chin. Their counterparts, their rivals, so to speak, up north, the Milwaukee Brewers, doing the business. Ladies and gentlemen, you love him. He is the marvelous one. He's Dan Marver. What's up, Marver? How are you?
Hey, Jerry, Mr. Riles. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We got you, man. Hey, let me tell you something. The Gremlins last week, for some reason, they were in the phone system or the headphone system, and we couldn't. I couldn't hear you. So.
I heard you. Why? I don't know, but I heard you.
And soon the whole world will hear you.
Yeah, we were doing our own private radio show within the radio show. I couldn't figure it out.
There you go.
Yes, I passed on this because I want to go to Milwaukee, and I got too many Sundays in a row. I'm going to be in Milwaukee next Sunday, so I passed on this week.
Okay, well, it's probably a wise choice because the Cubs, two straight shutouts. Last weekend, the Nationals come in and handle business. Then the Cubs go on the road to take on the New York Mets, and they handle business, and they think they're back in the race. And then
things are backwards. They went on the road, and now it looks like
unbelievable.
If things hold as they are, they'll have to face Scherzer in a one-game playoff.
Arrested Scherzer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, let's kill this. Ladies and gentlemen, he could be on the south side on 95th and Halsted. He could be in Sibley. He could be in LaGrange. He could be in Downers Grove. Ladies and gentlemen, he could be downtown at the fountain, right there off the lakefront. Or he could be at Daily Plaza just hanging out, folks. He can be in Schaumburg. Ladies and gentlemen, he could be anywhere. But I got to tell you, for the fastest hour in sports conversation, he's right here in the studios of WCPT 820 AM. You love him. He's the best. He's anywhere. He's everywhere. He's in Jefferson Park. He is the man on the street. He's Marty-B. What's up, Marty?
Hey, good afternoon, Jerry, and to my fellow colleagues here. Aren't you glad I'm here in the studio today?
You better believe
We got
it.
lots to talk about, so
Boom.
let's get to it.
You got
I'm
it.
very glad, but you mentioned Daily Plaza. Somehow I picture if Marty's in Daily Plaza, I picture him climbing the Picasso. What do you think?
You've just given me an idea.
You never know.
Wait a second. Is it Daily Plaza or Dealey Plaza and Dallas?
Well, that was a site of something else. he'll be driving with the Blues Brothers through Daily Plaza.
That's hilarious. Marty, you looking good. You're looking dapper. You got your nice attire on. You got your hair all spiffied and ready to go. You're looking like $1 million, buddy.
I'm well rested for a change.
Man, you guys look good.
I look like pocket change.
Hey,
A lot of lint,
let me tell you something. Any change
button?
is all good.
a stray button,
Any change is all good,
a zipper.
Well, thank you for the compliment, Jerry.
You know, I was sitting on my sofa before we get to things started. I was sitting on my sofa earlier this week, and my wallet fell off into the sofa. You know how coins and everything fall off, and so the next day I get up. I usually put everything in a particular place every day, so cause you want to be able to find it the next day. And
That's
so
the idea. Yeah.
I get up and I'm looking for my wallet. I go, what the heck, man? So I jump in the car and I'm driving and I start checking. I'm like, because I thought maybe I left it in the car. I'm looking all around. Boom! I had to make a U-turn, turn back, get home, and I'm retracing my tracks, and then it go, boop! Jerry, go to the sofa. Go to the couch. Look between the cushions. It fell out of your pocket there. And, of course, the old handy wallet was right there, Danny. So pocket changes, it can come in handy sometimes.
It's always good when your furniture is paying off better than the slot machines, right? Find me some.
Any day. Any day. I'm not a gambling man. I learned my lesson when I was a young man. And the one lesson I learned about gambling, I hate to lose. I hate it. I don't know about you guys.
And if you gamble, you're going to lose plenty.
Oh, no question about it. No question about it. Well, hey, guys, let's get right to it. The Chicago Cubs, they're going in the wrong direction. Who said it? Marvelous? You said it. They're backwards. At one point, they owned Wrigley Field. They could not lose. They go on the road, and, of course, they couldn't win. Now it seems like it's the other way around. Again, they take on the Mets. They lose at home last weekend. They take on the Mets, handle business. You think they're back in town. They go on, a 4 or 5 game winning streak, and then you think, okay, they're back in this thing. And then they get back home to their friendly confines. They take the first game of a 3-set series against the Milwaukee Brewers, and you're thinking, okay. But the Brewers say, hey, boom.
Yeah, well, you never know. I mean, they have Seattle for 2, and they may be able to go to Milwaukee and turn the tables next weekend.
I don't know. I think the Cubs lose by a final score of 4-0 against the Milwaukee Brewers, as we stated over at the friendly confines. The second day that they were skunked, they lost 2-0 to Craig Counsell's ball team. And I don't know. I watched both games. I watched the entire series, by the way. And the way that Craig Counsell, in my opinion, has been managing this ball team, it's a chess match. And I think he has outmanaged Joe Madden. I think he's outmanaged with his starting pitchers, with his relief, and the way the situational batting and everything. I think that Craig Counsell has outmanaged Joe Madden. Now, we got to say, Darvish was a scratch. He was supposed to start, and he's been pitching lights out. It's the longest outing. His last outing, it was the longest of his career. He went 8 innings. He was a scratch due to a stiff elbow. So they said that he should be ready for his next start, but what was his name?
Chatwood.
Chatwood. Yeah, he was called in out of the bullpen to get the start, and he kind of struggled, but he held his own, so to speak. He gave up the 1 run, and it was a nip and tuck, back and forth ball game again, a mind game between the skippers, and I think Craig Counsell did a heck of a job, and then Christian Yelich. I called it. And my wife, I love her.
I did too.
I love her. I love her to death, but she hates me because.
Well, today she hates you for this, but for other days she hates you for anything.
No. Anytime it's the Cubs, because I love my White Sox and I tolerate the Cubs, but she hates me. She certainly does, and I say I go Yelich, he's due. He was what, Marty? He was like 0 for 3.
And a walk.
0 for 3 and a walk.
He was due.
I go, he's due.
And when that got to 3-2, I just knew. It's like Professor Harold Hill said in The Music Man, hey, we got trouble right here at Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
And it starts with a capital Y, and that stands for Yelich.
You absolutely right. And he belted that one 443 feet to center field to give the Brewers the 4-0 lead and a 4-0 victory. Danny Carlino, should Cub fans be afraid of what's going on the last month of the season, the last month of baseball during the regular season?
Well, first I'll start out with these last two games. Now, the Brewers are certainly have plenty of their struggles, but which is the thing that the Brewers have the biggest struggle with? Their pitching.
Right.
Now, their starting pitching is nondescript at best, and their bullpen, which was their strength last year, is faulty.
Except for Hader.
Yeah, Hader, and he's got the gopher ball this year that's going all over the place. And they get shut out 2 games in a row at home.
Yeah.
Early, am I allowed to quote myself?
Of course.
So every once in a while I come up with a gem. Just a little while ago, a Facebook friend of mine posted, it's September 1st, and I still don't know who these Cubs are. Apparently the Cubs don't know either. So I responded back, that they're an underachieving, slightly better than average team with a name brand, in quotes, starting rotation, an inconsistently potent offense, decent defense, and a horror show bullpen competing in a mediocre division. I think that's pretty much it.
Good choice of words, Danny.
So, like I said the last couple of weeks, the Cardinals are not really great at anything, but they're not really terrible at anything, and I think that's why they'll end up at the top of the division.
Yeah, the marvelous one. He said it. You said it perfectly, Danny Carlino. But against the Cubs this series, again, I thought Craig Counsell did a fabulous job of with the matchups, his pitchers, and how much time he left them in there, and when he went to the bullpen and the rotation that he had. What was your thoughts?
Now the teams have expanded. This will be the last year with 40 players in September, which is kind of ridiculous to begin with. So next year they'll have 28, I believe. But I don't know if Counsell's responsible for the Cubs not hitting well and leaving men on base. Maybe it's the pitching matchups, but they definitely, struggled for 2 days, obviously, scoring 0 runs. But still, they're in a position to make the playoffs. Whether that will happen or not remains to be seen. But, they've got Quintana ready to face Milwaukee again next week, and that seems to be the one that they always win.
Right, exactly. I think what it comes down to managing for sure the last stretch. Obviously, you're right. The Cubs, they left like 10 men on, I think 9 men in scoring position in this game. So you're absolutely right. You have to be able to come through. You have to be able to produce and execute, especially down the stretch when you're talking about the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th innings, and when you have the heart of your order coming up. And whatever the case may be. And again, that's why I say it was a pitching matchup because who was it? It was Hayward that they got out. It was Rizzo who came into the game. He struggled.
Right.
I think it was the pitching matchup and Craig Counsell making some smart moves at a smart time.
At a bad time, Hayward stopped hitting.
Yeah.
And Baez got injured.
Yes, he did.
Rizzo's fighting an injury. So, that's a problem too.
And Darvish, of course, because Javi Baez is with the stiff thumb, so he was taken out of the game. They weren't quite sure. They're going to do some more tests on him to see if he's going, if he's day to day or not. But that's something that you certainly don't want. You, Darvish, whatever the case may be regarding that elbow, you certainly don't want that in the month of September. The injury, of course, with the stiff back injury with Anthony Rizzo, these are things that seem to be apparently creeping up on this Cubs baseball team. And I don't know if you guys had an opportunity to check it out. And we're going to stay commercial free. We're going to take a break at the bottom of the hour. Incidentally, Gabe Salgado will not be here with our TRS60 scoreboard update. So we're going to take it down to the bottom of the hour before we take a break. Feel free to give us a call, 773-763-9278, 773-763-WCPT. But as far as this Cub baseball team is concerned, this is not the time that you need to start to spiral out of control. And I don't know if you guys noticed watching these games, I noticed, in particular, more with the pitchers, that they appear to be pressing a lot more. The fielders, the players in the field, they seem to be okay. I think some of them are trying to create opportunity at the plate, but the pitchers in particular, I see them pressing more, forcing themselves to throw strikes and try to get out. Marvelous.
I mean, even Kimbrel, he didn't have his best stuff in the ninth, clearly, and got in trouble. I mean, at that point, maybe you just intentionally walk Yelich, like they did a few years ago with the slugger for Washington.
Right.
But honestly, they're still in a position to make the playoffs despite it all.
Yeah. But the scary thing, Danny Carlino, is the fact that, again, they got San Diego coming in here. No. Seattle coming in to Wrigley Field for 2 days. Then they go to San Diego. Then, of course, they go up to Milwaukee next week. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens there if Milwaukee can handle the Cubs like they have been at home.
Yeah.
But the scary thing about it is they got 6 games against the Cardinals.
Seven.
The last seven games
Seven.
against the Cardinals. The last 10 games of the regular season.
Right.
And the series, they have to go down to St. Louis, Carlino. That's scary.
Everything should be scary at this point because, like the guy I responded to on Facebook said, I don't know what to expect. And, there's not one part of the starting rotation to a degree you can kind of count on because it seems like even like in today's game, he wasn't his best, but he only gave up 1 run. It was a 1-0 game going into the 9th inning, so you can't complain about the starting pitching and any middle relief.
Nothing wrong with Hamels yesterday.
I know, in a 2-0 game. I mean, but the problem with this team is that they're all or nothing. I mean, we talk about they get guys on base enough, but either they score 10, they bring them all in, or they leave them all stranded. It's a goose egg, 1 or 2 runs. I mean,
and they would have gotten a real lift if it had still been 1-0 because they would have had Zobrist batting in the 9th to a standing ovation. So that might have changed things if not for Yelich.
We'll see what kind of impact because so far as hitting is concerned, Castellanos is the only guy who's been hitting consistently since he got there.
Unbelievable.
And then I don't know. 2-3 months. Zobrist is. I mean, he's older, so I'm sure he could probably use the rest. But so much of hitting is mental. There wasn't much mental rest for him really. And is he going to be rusty? They're going to need an older guy who's been off for half the season to save their season, save their offense at least. With all the other guys either banged up or just underperforming.
Well, he is going to be rusty, and he was added to the 40-man roster. Just called up to join the Cubs team. So, but he did admit. He said that I'm not quite ready. He didn't play in Sunday's game, in today's game, but it's possible that he can play in the Seattle series. But he admitted that my timing is not right. My bat speed is just not right. Yeah, I spent a couple, days in the minor leagues trying to get reacclimated and get adjusted, but he did admit that his bat speed is not up to par right now. So it's going to take him at least a series, if not a week, to try to get back up to that major league standard. So it's going to be interesting. But again, you're right. To put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak, and hope that this guy can turn things around, and maybe he can. Maybe he can. The one thing that has been plaguing this baseball team all season long, and I think it hurts it, Joe Madden admitted that we don't have a lot of speed on this baseball team. And that's, to me, that's not a good thing. I think the one thing that the Cubs have to focus on when you talk about next season and building, you got to find yourself a leadoff guy. You got to find yourself a bona fide leadoff man that is going to set the table and get things started. But you also have to find some type of speed. That's just baseball.
Somewhere. Well, and when you're struggling to hit the ball, you can't. How do you force it?
Right.
And there's only so many things you can do offensively in baseball if you're not hitting. You get on base here and there, you try to take a walk, be more patient, maybe something. I don't know, but when you do get on base, and the guys who are coming to the bat don't hit consistently, you got to move the guys around somehow. Do something. You can't just say, "Well, we'll wait for the 3-run homer."
Right, right.
You can tell it's a problem when Baez is leading off as he did today.
Yeah, because he's of the guys there. He may be able to do a little bit of running. It's him or Hayward that may run. The other 7 guys are not running anywhere.
Right, and analytics and all of that stuff, sabermetrics. I get that. That's part of today's game. That's part of the direction that sports is trending in. I certainly get that, but I'm kind of like the old school guy like Joe Madden. I'm kind of like the old school guy like Ozzie Guillen. You want to be a gut check guy, so to speak, but baseball is baseball, and as long as I've been watching the game and playing, and my wife said, "You've never played. You haven't played in the major leagues." Whoa!
It's the Cubs offense, right?
The Cubs offense falling apart just like it. But she said, "You've never played." I go, but listen. The one thing I do understand, Marty, you've been around the game, but you guys have followed the game.
Oh yeah, played it, been around, managed it, everything else.
You got to have one of those, and who was it? Earl Weaver. He used to say, hey, you got to, or Whitey Herzog, one of the two, or both of them. You got to have those little fleas. He called those little fleas on the base pass to jumpstart your offense. And he meant, basically, you need to get that little guy like a Lance Johnson on board. You got to lead him off. You got to get him on, whether it's a slap base hit, whether it's a walk, working the pitcher, or you get hit by a pitcher, whatever. You got to work that count. You got to get that little flea on the base, and then your strategy starts to work in, and you got to steal a base.
Well, here's what a lot of people talk about, and they want to ban the shift, right? Because it takes base hits away from guys. Well, one way you work around the shift, get somebody on base. Then they can't shift as much, depending on what kind of player it is. And at every level, I know at the major league level, obviously they're much better at it. But anytime you can force the defense to even think about making a throw they don't normally have to make,
that's it.
That's good.
That's exactly it. And again, that's why the old school baseball still works with it. If you got a little guy, you got a guy a slapstick, base hit, and you got a guy on first base. Now the pitcher's got to think about him. He's got to think about him. And if this guy is taken out, boom! And that's a lost art. Two lost arts, Marvelous One, in baseball. It's the bunt and the steals.
Well, the Cubs have a flea. I saw him warming up with Schwarber in the outfield. I thought it was a little leaguer, Tony Kemp. So maybe he's the answer. He's like 5'4" or something.
Well, you know what? And again, baseball is a crazy sport. There's no question about it. And any given day, something can happen. Things can change. Now, you gotta keep your eyes on the St. Louis Cardinals. They sweep the Cincinnati Reds. Back-to-back doubleheaders.
I thought it was when I'm looking at the bottom score, I'm like, I thought they played a doubleheader yesterday. Why did they say game 1 and game 2?
Well, they're playing now.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
So it's either it'll be 4 games or it'll be 3 games, depending on what happens. And they have 2 walk-offs in a row too, the Cardinals. So, like I said, they've won 9 of their last 10. The Cubs are treading water. They've split the last 10. Brewers are actually a little above 500 in their last 10. So. The Cubs have been inconsistent. The Brewers have been kind of blah after the first couple of weeks. The Cardinals had their first couple of weeks that were pretty good, and then they kind of went in the dumps. But then since then, they've been a little bit more consistent. Like I said, they're the most even keel of the 3. I don't think the Brewers have a prayer any longer, but they can certainly spoil it from two ahead of them because there's so many games between the 3.
And of course, the Cubs they gotta right the ship. And what I like about Joe Madden is his comments after the loss 4-0 to the Brewers is that he's calm. The guy. He's Joe Cool. Joe Madden is cool. He goes, hey, I've been there before, seen it, done it. He's done it with the Tampa Bay Rays, and of course we know what was going on there, battling the Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. So he's like, hey, you know what? The Cardinals and the Brewers, I've been there before. I've seen it. We just have 24 hours later, we just got to come back and get ourselves back together again and play. Now, does that translate down to the players that have the same mentality? Again, I see a lot of, especially the pitching staff, a lot of these guys pressing. A lot of them pressing. And the Cubs use, 20-something players in this baseball game.
Right. Well, because they have all those pitchers now. But I like the Cardinals' chances, too, because now they play the Giants at home, and then they go to Pittsburgh. So they may be able to even pull away further.
Now, the question you got to ask yourself, if you're a Cub fan, are they peaking too soon? It's September 1st. They got to go through the dog days of summer, as they say, and they got to go through the month of September, and anything's capable and anything's possible. Are they peaking too soon? So by the time they get to the Cubs series, the last 2 weeks of the regular season, maybe the Cubs put things together. Maybe Ben Zobrist is clicking, and he puts a spark in this Cub baseball team. He's leading off, and he's scrapping, and he's plugging in holes as a utility player. Maybe the Cardinals are peaking a little bit too soon, and the Cubs are just hiding in the wings, so to speak.
Could be. That sounds good to me.
Well, and another difference, and between the Cardinals and the Cubs right now, you mentioned leadoff, you mentioned speed. You talk about who's the guy? Dexter Fowler. Neither the Cubs nor Dexter Fowler have been the same since they parted.
Exactly.
But now seems like he's healthy.
Well,
and the Cubs are still searching for somebody for that top spot.
They certainly are. We had the great former Cub third baseman Bill Matlock on last week, and he said that he's actually has been working with Dexter Fowler, and we see what Dexter Fowler has been doing. So maybe the Cubs, they got rid of Chili Davis, blamed it on him.
He's probably happy.
Maybe, yeah, he is. Maybe the Cubs should give Bill Matlock a call and say, hey, we need some help. Can you help us out?
They've gone through 4 of them in the last 3 years, haven't they?
Unbelievable, folks. Keep it locked in. It's the fastest hour in sports conversation. This is the Rewind Sports 60. Yours truly, Jerry Riles. The Italian Stallion, Danny Carlino. The marvelous one, Dan Marver. And, of course, you love this man. He is the best in the business. He's anywhere. He's everywhere. He's here in the studio. He is the man on the street, Marty-B. Folks, when we come back, we got some beer conversation. 368! 368!
I forgot the snap count.
Boom, boom, boom. Congratulations to Cody Whitehair, the guy. We need some money. We need to go ask Cody, hey, can you hook us up? He just got a big deal extension for the Chicago Bears. Keep it locked in. The Bears open up the 2019 season on the lakefront. Shake the lake against their rival, the Green Bay Packers. This is the Rewind Sports 60. Keep it locked in. WCPT 820 AM, Chicago.
You're watching the Rewind Sports 60. Go Bucks! Woo!
It's the end of the quarter. Time for a break in the action. The hottest sports panel in Chicago will get back to the fast-paced action, streaming live on Facebook Live. We're back at it after this quick timeout. So don't you dare touch that iPhone, Android, iPad, Mac, or PC. Lock it in.
Please have a seat. I'll be honest. Your resume is not what I'm used to.
I know.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need a hard worker.
Good. I've got 2 part-time jobs and to help my parents pay the bills.
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find, cultivate, and train a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Hey, Chicago, looking for a winning team on a winning station? You found it right here on WCPT 820 AM. Join Danny Carlino, Kelly Lee Williams, Dan Marvelous Marver, Marty-B, the man on the street, Gabe Salgado with updates, and yours truly, Jerry Riles, for your sports and entertainment needs. Looking for real sports talk? Got it. Real radio? Right here. Real stuff? We're here. The Rewind Sports 60 every Sunday from 6 to 7 p.m. on WCPT 820 AM. Real sports, real talk, just plain real. Lock it in.
If it's Chicago sports you want, you're in the right place.
Hello, Chicago!
The Rewind Sports 60.
That's the best in the city of Chicago.
Welcome back to the Rewind Sports 60 live with the best sports panel in Chicago. Lock it in.
Here's the pitch to Yelich, and this one lifted center field, way back, and this one long gone for a 3-run bomb with 2 outs here in the 9th inning. Off Kimbrel, and Yelich, his first home run in over 2 weeks, number 42 on the season. It is 4-0 Milwaukee.
Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. That was Christian Yelich, a 3-run shot in the 9th inning to lift his Milwaukee Brewers over the Chicago Cubs by a final score of 4-0 over at the friendly confines. Those highlights courtesy of Fox and folks.
Wisconsin, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Fox, Wisconsin. For them, the Cubs are like, it could be Fox Timbuktu.
It sounded like it was Wisconsin with the reaction.
Yeah, of course. Because they're the only ones who are cheering right now. Craig Krimble gives up a... And Marty-B and I, we were watching. All of us were pretty much watching, but I just knew. Christian Yelich is just too talented.
Was that his 42nd?
Yeah. He hadn't had one in 2 weeks.
He's 2 weeks.
Like I said,
that's an eternity.
They should have walked him like they used to walk Harper. I was saying.
I think he came with a bat 4 times. I walked him 5. Yeah. I walked him in the parking lot too.
I had bad feelings when that count got to 3-2.
Yeah.
Real bad
because
feelings.
what is Kimbrel going to come with? He's just going to try to blow him away.
Right, exactly.
And if he times it, it's going to go a long way.
That was it. I think the second strike, it was it nipped the outside corner. And Christian Yelich, the guy is a disciplined professional baseball hitter. I mean, he's a 5'2" player, no question about it. But the second strike just nipped the outside corner of the plate. And they showed his reaction. I mean, he was calm as a cucumber, as they say. And he, choked up on his bat a little bit, looked down, and, got in position, and boom, shakalaka.
You got me on that one.
Hayward just turned around and looked.
And when the outfielder doesn't move, except for, turn his neck.
443 feet, Marty. Boom!
Yeah, no basket on that one. No,
Simply
no
said,
cheapie.
we are no longer, speaking of the Cubs, in the catbird seat.
No. Are you sure?
The cat with the feather popping out of his mouth.
You're not in the catbird seat, Marty.
Is that what this is called? Is that the
Not
brand?
even
Let me
close.
look at the label on this.
Is it over?
It's not over, but it's leaning that way.
I feel like I'm in the catnip seat.
Hey, a couple notes real quick before we move forward. Bears conversation here to pass us on sports conversation. Yours truly, Jerry Riles, Danny Carlino, the Italian stallion, a marvelous one, Dan Marver, and of course, Marty-B, the man on the street, coming up with this segment before we're out of here. So if you want to be a part of our conversation, anything in the world of sports you want to talk about, our number here at WCPT, Progressive Talk, Sports Talk, it's 773-763-WCPT. 773-763-9278. Paul Shavari, our very own WCPT, Paul Shavari, became a father last week when Soren, and I hope I'm not butchering his name, the kid's name, Soren Shavari, was welcomed into the world this past weekend, folks. The little guy isn't so little. He was 8 pounds, 7 ounces, 20 inches long. Congratulations to Paul and his beautiful, beautiful wife on their new addition to their family. That was, that's quite something when we got the email from Matt
Quite
Cummings.
the bundle of joy.
Oh, my goodness. That's a big boy.
I was over a 10-pounder, by the way. My
were?
My mom's not that big, and some lady who was much larger than her that had a much smaller child at the hospital. She's like, "How did that thing come out of you?" And the doctor advised her to take me home in a wheelbarrow. So that's how I was brought into this world.
Baby Yui.
Yeah. Pomp and circumstance all over the place.
Oh, my God.
And you were probably born near noontime and born hungry.
I don't know. I'm hungry, probably, yes.
And I do have to say more news as far as our CPT family is concerned. On a sad note, we want to send our condolences out to Ellen Miller. She's co-host of Out Chicago here on WCPT. Her mom passed away this past week. Our condolences to Ellen and her family. Know we're thinking of you and wishing peace will find you soon. Ellen Miller, Out Chicago co-host, a very, very outstanding show, and she's an incredible individual, incredible human being, and it was disappointing to hear that her mother had passed away. And Ellen and I go back, we go back to the Score days, actually, when the Score was actually on 8:20 a.m., which is the frequency now, but back on the bunker at Belmont, Ellen Miller was in sales over there, and that's when I met her, and she's a doll. She's a fabulous individual. So our condolences definitely go out to her and her family, and we're here for her. And if there's anything that she needs, she can definitely know that she can reach out to us for any support she may need.
Thank you for mentioning that, Jerry. And in conjunction with condolences, I'm sure that this past week, Lori Lightfoot had quite a heavy heart because she lost a real advocate for her and an incredibly helpful person as she was running for office. Gentleman's name, Mr. Mike Bauer. I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Bauer on one occasion. He was a truly warm-hearted individual and quite an advocate of the LGBTQ community. Mm-hmm. And we lost Mike, and I know this has been difficult for our mayor, and our heart goes out to his husband and partner for many, many years.
Well, condolences definitely go out to Miss Lightfoot and Mr. Bauer's family for sure. If you want to talk some Bears football, we're right here for you. Before we get to Marty-B, the man on the street, thanks for sharing that with us, Marty-B. You are the man on the street sharing any and all the information that you gather up throughout the week. But as far as our Bears are concerned, the 2019 season is finally upon us. Football season is upon us. We can talk some college football as well, but the Bears will be kicking off on Thursday, September 5th, over on the lakefront, Soldier Field. And I like the new slogan that is going around town, Shake the Lake, Shake the Lake. But, folks, I got some question marks, and I know that Sports Illustrated this past week or so said that the Bears will finish somewhere with a 7-9 slate and last in the division. Last in the division. That. Now I don't think Detroit's gonna.
Detroit's like, hey, hold my beer.
I don't think Detroit's gonna be doing
trying to show us up.
But you know what? I look at the schedule. I go down the schedule, and barring injury, I still see this Bears football team possibly. I don't know, man. Somewhere between 9-7 and 7-9. But before we move on to get your predictions as far as what you see with the schedule in this football team, we want to say congratulations to the Bears. They signed their guard, Cody Whitehair, to a 5-year, $52.5 million extension that includes $27.5 million guaranteed. The deal, negotiated by Jeff Naley and Graylin Crane, gives Whitehair the second largest guarantee for a guard extension in NFL history. Congratulations to Cody Whitehair. That's a lot of money.
A lot of money for a very talented player.
That's a very, but he's a hard worker. He's a lunch pail type of guy. Puts that hard hat on, brings the lunch pail, and he goes to work. And he gets in the trenches, and he gets the job done. And he does whatever the Bears ask him to do over the past few years, whether it's play guard, whether it's a play center, wherever he has to set up on that offensive line. Cody Whitehair has pretty much been there, along with Kyle Long as well. But congratulations to him for getting the payday. And I got to say to you as well, first of all, I'm sick of all the kicking games that's going on, the kicking stories. You know what? We said, hey, with the Bears, typically every season, preseason and training camp and everything, it's always quarterback controversy. This year has been the kicking controversy. I think it hit national stage and national exposure, but the controversy has been there, and they even said, let's bring this woman, what's her name, Lori, whatever the woman's name is, the soccer girl.
Oh, the one that was going to try out for the Eagles or whatever.
It was the Eagles,
was Carly Lloyd.
Yeah.
Actually, she used to play for the Chicago team in town a few years ago. But, yeah, I had an interesting couple of exchanges with folks via the interwebs regarding that. And I love soccer. It wouldn't surprise me if she could make a couple kicks, but I don't know, kicking 16 weeks in the
There'd be one problem
season.
with that. I've seen the girls kicking in high school. If the kick's blocked, and then you have 21 guys running after the little girl. Yeah. That can be a problem.
That's the issue.
Marvelous one. That's the first thing that stuck out of my mind.
Why fear for the kickers that are the guys?
Exactly. You're talking about CTE and you had Andrew Luck quit because his body is banged up, and then you're talking about bringing a woman in here to kick in the National Football League?
The only kicker I've never been worried about was Sebastian Janikowski because he was bigger than half the guys.
And that guy,
and he was nuts.
Let me tell
he
you
was probably loaded half the time when he was kicking.
You know, Carl Vedvik's available again. He was cut. Did you know that guy who went to Minnesota?
Oh, the one we make a big deal about. Well, okay, whatever. Now, got to throw that out there. Got to keep that out. Why would you trade for somebody and cut him 2 weeks later?
It's crazy.
Right. Janikowski, Sebastian Janikowski, when he he was here with the Bears, right? Right.
Long time ago.
He was drafted.
Mm-hmm.
So I was working with Mike North, formerly of The Score. He's doing some other stuff here, but he had a television show, and we had Sebastian Janikowski as one of the guests on the show. So our good friend Charles Joseph, with his limousine service, picked them up, and we went to the show, had a nice meal, the whole 9 yards. Sebastian was fantastic. He was awesome. So he said, hey, I want to hang out in Chicago. I want to go see the nightlife. So Charles Joseph and I took him out, to the North Shore and took him all around and had a good time. And actually, and I'll say this real quick, but these guys, we went to this one club, and these guys, trying to flex their muscles with little old Jerry Riles. Just minding my own business in the corner there, having a nice PBR, not a PBR at the time. Actually, I was drinking Heineken at the time, but I'm drinking, and these guys, want to flex their muscles. Sebastian Janikowski comes over and, hey, Jerry, You okay? You need some help here? No, this is a big guy. He's a bald head. He's a big guy. Go, hey, you need any help? Is everything okay here? I go, yeah. Sebastian, everything's fine. These guys are, and the guys looked up and I'm like, oh, yeah. And they got out of there quicker than you could blink an eye. Well, the end of the story is we're in the limousine. I get dropped off. Sebastian Janikowski is in the car with Charles Joseph driving. He's smoking a cigarette. You're not supposed to smoke in a limousine. He smokes a cigarette. Charles said, hey, can you put the cigarette out? Where's he put the cigarette out? On the side of the seat. He burned holes in the leather seat of the limousine.
Listen, he didn't put it out in his neck.
Hey, guys, can I make one comment about the preseason? Thank God it's over. The
kidding.
Titans 1950. Now, show you how irrelevant it is. Tyler Bray was 28 of 40. Who? For 334 yards.
Really?
We may have a fan of Chase Daniel on the line. I'm not sure. But I was going to mention that I think Nagy's doing the league a great favor by making the preseason irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because they're talking about shortening it and maybe going to 7 teams in each division in the playoffs. I heard that rumor this week.
Yeah, I heard it too. And he may be doing the league a favor because a lot of players have been getting injured. Even Cam Newton went down with an ankle injury after suffering, the sitting out because of the shoulder and everything. So there are players, and then you got, like Andrew Luck again dropping off. You got Gronkowski saying, hey, man, I wasn't in the right place. So, maybe this preseason thing is for those second and third string guys trying to make a football team, whether it's a practice squad or not. Speaking of Matt Nagy, he told the reporters that kicker Eddy Pineiro will kick in the season opener versus the Packers. Quote, he deserves it. And this is just a public service announcement for all of you fans out there of the Rewind Sports 60. We're going to begin a new venture with Saranello's Ristorante Italiano in Wheeling every Tuesday starting September 10th. We're going to have my favorite meal, meet, M-E-A-T, eat and greet. And we're going to have several former and current professional sports athletes join us every Tuesday throughout the football season. And our first guest on Tuesday, I believe I can say this. Our first guest on Tuesday, September 10th at Saranello's Ristorante Italiano in Wheeling from 6:30 to 8:30 will be Chicago Bears starting kicker Eddy Pineiro at Saranello's. So we want you guys to check out the website. Come on out. It's going to be a $29 buffet. Come on out. Get a chance to talk with Eddy Pineiro. It's a Q&A session with Eddy and myself. And, of course, you get to eat and maybe take some pictures. And maybe he feel good enough that he can sign some autographs.
Well, here's the thing. You have to see what he's going to do when he puts on the uniform, and it's for real. But we know for sure thing by Thursday he'll be well fed.
Right.
So it won't be any push with that.
The other thing is that I hope he does really well, so he's able to come on Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I hope he's 3 for 3 or 4 for 4 and he hits the game-winning field goal.
I know. I'm sure he'll be
and
there.
they carry him off the field on their shoulders.
Yeah.
That'll be a great start.
I make a rule that maybe in the next CBA that they get all these other things they want to get to, but maybe all kickers should be signed to those old-fashioned NBA 10-day contracts. What do you think?
Exactly. Hey, let's go out to our phone lines and pick it up with Kelly, who's calling to talk about the Bears. Kelly, welcome to the Rewind Sports 60. How are you?
This isn't Kelly. This is Jerry Riles. Hey, Jerry. What's up, Jerry? What's going on, buddy? Yeah. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, Mr. Hollywood? Well, we can't say Mr. Hollywood. We got to call you Mr. Vegas. How are you? Kelly Lee Williams on our hotline. How are you, buddy?
Hey, sexy. I'm looking at you guys right now on the Rewind Sports 60 hotline, and you guys are all looking sexy. Everyone except for Marvelous. What's that, Marvelous? Why did you have to bring up Chase Daniel?
I knew you were coming. That's why.
You're synonymous with Chase Daniel.
Well,
I think of you every time I see him play.
Yeah,
You're killing me. You're killing me.
Well, hey, man, you better hope that Mitchell Trubisky doesn't get injured because there's only 2 quarterbacks on the 53-man roster, and you know who the other guy is, your favorite.
Yes, it is, but I don't think that Trubisky's going to get hurt. I think that the Bears are going to go 10-6, and they may either going to qualify for wild card or win a division. This is going to be a hard-fought division. I don't know what people talk about with the NFC North, talking about all these other teams. They're going to be all vaulting, and the Bears are going to be last. What the heck is that about? The Green Bay Packers have a new coach. The Minnesota Vikings have Mr. Inconsistent at quarterback, and the Detroit Lions are the Detroit Lions. What the hell are we talking about? The Bears are still going to be the Bears, and they're going to win their division again.
And the crowd was stunned.
I know. Well, they got after the Packers, they got the Broncos, Redskins, Vikings, Raiders, and Saints. So they might get off to a good start.
They may get off to a good start, but they're not. None of them are in the NFC North. The NFC North is once again going to be a tough division. Jerry, you know that.
Yeah, of course. Tough. Yeah. And interesting, coming into the bye week after the Sunday, October 6th game at Oakland, the Bears actually could be 5-0 or 4-1, but depending. I mean, they go up to they take on the Packers. We believe they should win that one, and then they go to Denver to take on Vic Fangio and his Broncos for a Sunday afternoon clash. You would hope that this defense will rise up to the occasion, but again, we don't know what we're getting in Mitchell Trubisky right now. We simply don't know what we're getting in him.
True that, but we do know what we're getting in the defense. We do know what we're getting in a guy named Chuck Pagano. Chuck Pagano knows what he's doing with the defense. He's like a Dom Capers guy. You know, you put this guy in the defense, you go, defense is set for 2-3 years because this guy knows what he's doing. And we still got a top 5, if not the 2 best defenses in the NFL. So why not the Chicago Bears winning the division again? Because it's consistent with the Vikings. I don't see the Vikings being better than 9-7. The Packers may be tied 10-6. That's why I think the Bears are either going to win or tie for the wild card. It's going to be against the Bears and the Packers are both going to make the playoffs. But the Lions, no way in hell. Matt Patricia may be out of there after that year.
Yeah,
and he might be the happiest man about that if he is.
But again, Kelly, and we're short on time. You know, this is the fastest hour in sports conversation. But again, injuries are a key factor in the National Football League, and the Bears were able to have minimal players out due to major injuries of some sort last year. So that was a plus for them. I think Sports Illustrated and some of the scribes, following the league, they look at that and they shake their head and say, if Mitchell Trubisky, God forbid, but if he goes down, if he's blindsided, if he's knocked out, your boy's going to be under center.
well, the thing with Mitchell Trubisky this year is like, is he going to run the same, more or less? I'm thinking he's not going to run more because he did miss those couple of games in part because of getting hit on one of his runs. But is he going to run less? Is he going to be able to throw better so he doesn't have to run as much to get those first downs?
He needs to learn the hook slide, too, at the end.
Exactly.
Save yourself for another battle.
David Montgomery. Hey. You guys, it's good to hear you guys. It's good to talk to you guys again. I know it's the fastest sports hour, but I'm going to make my effort to get calling every week, man. You guys are sounding good. Keep doing your thing. And come out to Las Vegas.
How's everything out in Vegas?
Oh, dude, I work at this place called the Cat's Meow.
Meow.
You can see us on Earth Cam. It's a cam that shows all clubs all over the world. We already have 500,000 hits, and we've only been open for 3 weeks. The Cat's Meow is the stuff, man. Everybody send to Vegas, send them to Cat's Meow, tell them to say hello to DJ Morpheus. I'm already the #1 DJ at Cat's Meow. So what's up? Holla, holla.
Holla, holla.
Kelly, we are so proud of you and much continued success to you.
We miss you, buddy.
Thank you. Marty-B, I miss you, brother. And thank you for every time you give a blessing, bro. I always remember where I'm from, man. Thank you.
Oh, you're very kind. Thank you, Kelly.
He's the best. Kelly Lee Williams. Take care, brother. We'll talk to you.
Take care.
So long, guys.
Okay.
Kelly Lee Williams, ladies and gentlemen. Marty-B, fastest hour in sports conversation. What do you got going, good friend?
Well, first of all, I must acknowledge my young friend Ryan Downing, a sophomore midfielder on the Maine South soccer team. He scored the initial goal of the season, and that propelled them to a fine victory over the Schaumburg Saxons. So keep it going, Ryan.
There you go. What else you got, Marty?
You know, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to set your alarm clocks. Wake up to the Santita Jackson Show mornings, Monday through Friday, from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Santita delivers compelling guests, thought-provoking topics, and intelligent conversation. The Santita Jackson Show, mornings, right here on WCPT 820 AM. I am addicted to her show. I was just always Fox News from 6 to 8. Now, there's no place in my life for Fox News. It's all Santita.
There you go. Hey, real quick before we get out of here, thank you. Santita Jackson is fantastic. I love her to death. Make sure Marty-B set your alarm clocks. Set it up real quick. We want to say real quick, Marty, we want to give away anyone. Just call 773-763-9278, 773-763-WCPT. We got a Bears flag we want to give away. And, of course, if it's still time for barbecuing, it's September. You can still get the grill out there.
Oh, my gosh, it's up until the third week in November.
There's
tomorrow.
3 barbecue sauces right here, courtesy of our friends from Budweiser. Hey, call right now. Devin Tingle's going to pick up the phone. Our number is 773-763-9278, 773-763-9278. You can win the barbecue sauce right here. You can win a Bears flag so you can hang it up outside your home on Thursday night to get the 2019 season going. Call right now. WCPT, the Rewind Sports 60, 773-763-WCPT. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. A little bit of time, as you all know, this past Friday night and a little bit of yesterday, high school football got going. And as you know, this is my passion. Just a little bit about just some highlights. Interestingly enough, Warren, wow, they're turning out to be a top team. They knocked off Barrington 16-6. And so interesting, their junior quarterback, Phil Hurd, and this usually does not happen in high school football, he sustained a 10-minute drive in the third quarter.
That's
that ate up all kinds of time.
Wait, in high school?
In high school, a 10-minute drive in the third quarter.
12-minute quarters.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, amazing.
Oh, my God.
Just amazing. And, of course, St. Rita, they proved, hey, you better watch them. They knocked off Joliet Catholic. And the highlight of this game was a 99-yard interception by a young man by the name of Joey Cronin. 99 yards.
Pick six?
Pick six.
Oh, my God. How about the Mustangs?
Oh, the Marist Mustangs?
No, St. Rita.
Oh, St. Rita. That's their nickname? I didn't know that. Thank you, Jerry.
No,
yeah,
Morton,
how about those Mustangs is right.
No, Morton.
Every week, the High School Lights program picks a team. It's been Prairie Ridge, it's been several others, and they take this team all through the season. Well, this year, I'm delighted with their selection. The Phillips, and I do know this name, Wildcats.
There you go.
The Phillips Wildcats are going to be highlighted and featured every week. And Phillips High School, I learned some things. They're named after Wendell Phillips, the famous abolitionist. God, musical people like Nat King Cole, Sam Cooke, my God,
Sam Cooke,
Herbie Hancock, Diana Washington,
Herbie Hancock,
and of course the renowned Gwendolyn Brooks. They all came out of Phillips. So whether it's music or athletics, Phillips is quite a school. And of course, in the last 4 years, they've won 2 state championships. And this senior class this year says, hey, they want to do it again.
You know what? I think my mom went to Phillips High School.
Did she?
I think she did. My dad went to Inglewood High School. I think my mom went to Phillips High School.
Wow. Well, we're going to get Troy.
Throw her on the list, too.
Yes, Mrs. Riles.
Bring her in as a guest.
We'd love to have you on. We ought to have Mrs. Riles on when we reach out and have Troy McAllister with a number of other renowned high school coaches on panels in weeks forthcoming.
There you go. Now, real quick, set the stage, Marty. Let everyone know, because it's the fastest hour in sports conversation. We got to get out of here. Let them know about Saranello's coming up.
Yes, beginning next Saturday, September the 7th, from noon until 2, we will be at Saranello's with a plethora of interesting guests. I want people to say, gosh, I wonder what's going to go on with the Rewind Sports 60 next week.
Come on out for lunch from 12 to 2, starting this Saturday and every Saturday, moving forward at Saranello's Ristorante, Italiano in Wheeling. Go ahead, Marty.
Okay. It was interesting enough yesterday. They highlighted a player that I'm sure you all remember from Providence Catholic, Miles Boykin. Remember Miles?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, of course. I didn't realize that last year in the Citrus Bowl, he was Notre Dame's most valuable player in that bowl, and now I guess he's making some real noise with the Baltimore Ravens. So another player outstanding out of our area is making a name for himself.
Anyone in the Chicago area is definitely making a name for himself, which is very, very good.
Oh, yes, very, very, very much so. And last but not least, the athlete of the week this week was a Marist senior captain. He's a defensive back. His name is Cavante Houston.
Cavante.
Yes, Cavante. And this last year, Cavante shared with us the fact that he had a chance to build houses this summer.
Wow.
He is an aspiring civil engineering marketing major. And his coach speaks very, very highly of him, Ron Dworzak. And Ron, who's been the coach there since 2017, he's made a comment or two that resonated with me. He said, we here at Marist, and especially it's evident with Cavante, does things the right way, pays great attention to detail. And we all know that in the business of football, if you don't pay attention to detail and you don't do right things, repercussions will prevail, and that usually ends up in a loss.
Thank you, Marty-B, the fastest hour in sports conversation. Before we're out of here, Savoring Sweetness, The Life and Times of Walter Payton premieres 7 p.m. September 4th on the Tribune broadcast station WGN-TV. Thanks to Danny Carlino, the Italian Stallion, Marty-B, the man on the street, and the marvelous one, Dan Marver. Lock it in. It is the fastest hour in sports conversation. Have a very, very great rest of your weekend. Happy Labor Day, and we'll see you next time. See you at Saranello Saturday, 12 to 2 p.m. Good night, everybody. Hey, Chicago, looking for a winning team on a winning station? You found it right here on WCPT 820 AM. Join Danny Carlino, Kelly Lee Williams, Dan Marvelous Marver, Marty-B, the man on the street, Gabe Salgado with updates, and yours truly, Jerry Riles, for your sports and entertainment needs. Looking for real sports talk? Got it. Real radio? Right here. Real stuff? We're here. The Rewind Sports 60 every Sunday from 6 to 7 p.m. on WCPT 820 AM. Real sports, real talk, just plain real. Lock it in.
To the ball game, Hall of Famer Andre Dawson.
All right. Let's hear it from the greatest fans ever. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back Forest Root. Root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Hey, let's get some runs. Thank you.
Hey, Chicago, looking for a winning team on a winning station? You found it right here on WCPT 820 AM. Join Danny Carlino, Kelly Lee Williams, Dan Marvelous Marver, Marty-B, the man on the street, Gabe Salgado with updates, and yours truly, Jerry Riles, for your sports and entertainment needs. Looking for real sports talk? Got it. Real radio? Right here. Real stuff? We're here. The Rewind Sports 60 every Sunday from 6 to 7 p.m. on WCPT 820 AM. Real sports, real talk, just plain real. Lock it in.